It has to be said, Estevao is a scary, scary talent. At just 18 years old, I've seen some brilliant players in the Premier League and in other leagues and abroad, but I have to say there's something special about this kid. And I don't want to admit it because I'm not a fan of Chelsea, being an Arsenal fan. But let me be real and let me be brutally honest with you. He's going to the top. He just looks like that good. I can't deny the fact that right now he is doing some scary things on the football. Technically gifted, unbelievable pace and power, an eye for goal, creative spark, and probably, let's be real, should have been playing more for Chelsea. At just 18, it's difficult to say that. You know, Arsenal have had players younger than 18 that have played in the first team, and I'm sure that Chelsea have as well. But there's just something special about this kid. And I watch him every time and I'm looking at him closely. Because let's be real, you can afford to be critical when the Chelsea fans are going on about him. I didn't know much about him. I didn't look at him in Brazil until just now. And I'm seeing an unbelievable talent in front of my eyes. And it's one that, let's be real, in the next few years, I do genuinely think we'll be talking about as one of the greatest in that position. We've got some great wingers we've seen at the moment, some of them at a really good age. We've got one ourselves in Bukayo Saka. Chelsea would say they've probably got one of the best as well in Cole Palmer. Obviously, we're not touching on the likes of Lamine Yamal at his age, but Estevao at just 18 years old, what he's doing at the moment is unbelievable. One of the best players on the pitch. I saw him last night against Barcelona. He was absolutely outstanding. The goal that he's taken there, wow, roofed into the net and made it look easy. Now he's already bounced onto the scene, burst onto the scene with a couple of individual performances. He's obviously been on the lips of every Chelsea player, every Chelsea fan. And I can see why. I can. It's scary. I don't want to admit it. I want to talk about Max Dowman. I want to talk about Ethan Wanieri. I want to talk about Saka and Miles Lewis Skelly and some of the youngsters. And trust me, we will do that. And we have done that. But I think sometimes you just have to hold your hands up and say that when there's a rival that's got a player of this level at that age, doing what he's doing that age, yeah, it has to be spoken about. And I've been quite clear with Chelsea fans. If you build your team around the likes of Caicedo and Palmer and now Estevao with quality, you can go and compete. You can be back at the top. Because Chelsea being back isn't winning a Conference League or winning a Carabao Cup if they did this year or getting into the top four by the last couple of games of the season. That's not Chelsea being back. I know some of the fans are happy with that, which is why I think their standards in the gutter. Because when I was growing up and when I was a teenager and in my 20s, Chelsea were ruining my weekends. Chelsea were beating us, dunking us off Drogba, having John Terry and Lampard and Cech as part of that spine. Now Chelsea are a little bit of a laughing stock when you look at their spine now of Sanchez and Tosin and, Fofana being their best defender who always keeps getting injured. They've only really got James, Cucurella, Caicedo, Palmer, and now Estevao that I look at and get jealous of, really. All the others, they just aren't for me. I'm not a fan of Garnacho, never have been. Gittins, Pedro looks decent, Delap looks decent, but am I jealous of them? Not really. I'm not really jealous of anything other than their midfield, their fullbacks, and Estevao. That's about it. So I think in the summer and January, they know where they need to upgrade. And I think it's quite obvious for every football fan to see where they need to upgrade. But this Estevao kid needs mentioning. He has been phenomenal. So I started to look at what he was doing over in Brazil as to why people are so hyped about him. Because we've heard it before, haven't we, with this Brazilian talent's going to be unbelievable. Gabriel Barbosa is the new guy. Igor Jesus has gone to Forest. He's the next one coming through Brazil. And I've kind of rolled my eyes at a few of them over the years. But I'm not rolling my eyes at this one. Let me tell you why. I look at his record at Brazil, and if you look at the goals and assists in Brazil, in that league, under the age of 18, Estevao clears everybody. Now, when I say clears everybody, there's a lot of players in Brazil that have played under the age of 18. But the names on this list might scare you even more. Alexandre Pato is one. He got 6 goals and assists before the age of 18. Never really went on to be outstanding, but certainly had a good career and was a very good footballer. The next on the list is Vinny Jr. We know what Vinicius Jr. is about. 7 goals and assists before the age of 18 over in Brazil. Then you look at Endrick. Obviously, he's at Real Madrid now. Everybody talking about him. Scores goals for the Brazil national team and made his name as really a 16, 17-year-old over there. 11 goals and assists. Everyone was going mad about it. Oh my God, this Endrick's going to be next level. He's gone to Real Madrid. It's all going to blow up for him. Rodrigo. Real Madrid, unsettled at the moment, rumoured to be potentially looking for a move this summer, one just gone, and maybe the January or summer move, but 11 goals and assists from him as well before the age of 18. Good numbers, fair. You'd say that's fair. Ethan Nwaneri got 10 goals in all competitions under the age of 18 for Arsenal. Everybody was raving about how fantastic of a season that he had, right? So we're being serious when we talk about these names. Next on the list is Neymar, who, let's be real, went on to have an unbelievably phenomenal career. Some say one of the best wingers ever, one of the best wingers they've seen in this generation. 16 goals and assists. Brilliant. Estevao, before the age of 18, which is what he is just now at Chelsea, has got 22 goals and assists. That's scary. He's near on doubled all of those names that I've just said, other than Neymar, and he's got 6 more goals and assists than Neymar did before the age of 18. And we all know what Neymar did and what he went on to do. This is scary. This is an absolute talent. And this is one that we are going to have to follow the journey of. And the football side of me wants to see him do well because I love players like this. I love players like this in the Premier League. I love players doing well like this in our league, and I love watching them week in, week out. Selfishly, I don't want him to do well because he plays for Chelsea, not Arsenal, right? But if I'm looking at it with a football brain, I think this guy's going to go to the very top. And then I look at what he's done since he's been in the kind of limelight. The Brazil under-17s World Cup, 3 goals, 3 assists. Already spoken about, everybody talking about him. Links to Chelsea, Chelsea fans getting gassed. Not too sure, very young, got a few goals. Let's just calm down. Then we go to his Palmeiras career and we see that he's got 13 goals and 8 assists in 30 games in 2024. And you start to think, yeah, this guy's got it. This guy's got it. To do that in any league at the age of 16, 17 is scary anyway, but that's what he's delivering consistently. Then you look for the national team. In his first 7 matches, he's already got a goal. And then you look at his Chelsea career. Now, he's already played a Carabao Cup game or 2. In fact, he's played 2 matches and he scores a goal. He plays in the Premier League now, making 10 appearances, some of which I do believe he should have got more minutes. He's already scored and assisted. And in the Champions League, he's played 5 matches for Chelsea and he's already scored 3 goals. Now, when you start doing it in the Premier League and get a taster, and you start doing it in the Carabao Cup, there's kind of levels. You do it in the Carabao Cup and people say, yeah, it's the kids' competition. It's the milk trophy. No one respects that. Calm down. When you do it in the Premier League, people start to look at you. When you do it in Europe, which actually is his best record at Chelsea so far, you start to take a step back and go, okay, this guy's going to deliver. Because if you're doing it in the Champions League at the age of 17 or 18, that's when you've got people looking at you, people talking about the quality, the technical ability, the creativity, the flair. He looks like a Brazilian player and he plays like a Brazilian player. And let's be real, I don't mean this to sound harsh. This is not the Brazil of 2000 to 2002 with Romario and R9 and Ronaldinho and Denilson and Lucio and these guys. This is not that Brazilian side. There's not many at the moment you can look at in that Brazilian national side. Even Ronaldinho has said it. There's no one like us until this guy come along. And I genuinely do think they might have somebody here who could go to that level. I'm not saying he's going to go win Ballon d'Ors. I don't know that, right? I'm not saying he's going to go and be one of the best wingers in the world. I don't know that either. But we're certainly going to be talking about this guy for a very long time. At the age of 18, I believe we're going to be looking at him in 10 years' time, saying at 28, what he's achieved is incredible. I don't know if he's all going to be at Chelsea. Chelsea fans will hope so. I don't know if he's going to go to Barcelona or maybe PSG or Real Madrid. But for me, this guy has the ability to do anything he wants. He has got the world at his feet. Now, as long as he keeps his mentality and his head grounded, because we've seen players like this before. Balotelli looked unbelievable at 17, 18, but was just an absolute nutcase and was never going to go to them levels. Maybe that's a bad comparison because Estevao looks better than Balotelli does at 17, 18. However, you get my point. Mentally, he needs to keep his feet on the ground. But Estevao, he's going to be a problem, people. He's going to be a problem. And we might have a problem for the first time at the weekend. Cole Palmer rumoured to be back in training, potentially back for the Arsenal game. Estevao probably going to start, cause some problems. Calafiori will have a tough day against Estevao. Let's be real. Hopefully Cucurella does with Saka, and hopefully, their defence have a bad day with Arsenal too. But I'm looking at Estevao right now thinking he might be the one that I'm looking at over anybody else. I might be looking at Estevao more than I'm looking at Caicedo. I might be looking at Estevao more than Cole Palmer if he's back. I'll definitely be looking at Estevao more than any of the other attacking players or midfielders. So right now, he's the talk of the town. An unbelievable goal against Barcelona last night. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. Go check it out. It was incredible. And they wiped the floor with him. I know they were down to 10 men. I get it. But Chelsea wiped the floor with them. So they've got the confidence. And Arsenal will want to go into this game off the back of Bayern Munich with the momentum to keep winning and go again. And I do believe we'll be talking about Estevao for quite some time. Do me a favor, people. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.